Okay, so these are a few tips for the opposite player who plays opposite the setter. Opposite players switch to the right side, right front when they're front row, and they switch to right back when they're back row. This is a typical row 1 or rotation 1 where the setter would start in the right back and the opposite starts in left front. So let's switch to position for defense. So right side, the opposite is going to switch to right front. Outside hitter is going to go out here, or wing swinger. Outside hitter is out here switching to the left. Middle blocker in the middle. And here's your setter still back here and right back. Okay, so here you are as the opposite. Good things to remember are, as the opposite, if the ball should come over the net to your setter, you need to hang out near the net to make sure first that your setter is not digging the ball. If your setter digs the ball, then you're there to set the ball to your other two hitters. Okay, so your setter would dig to you and you would set the balls. Some teams choose to dig to middle back to their libero. I'm not a big fan of that because I feel like if you dig to right front, you're live as a setter now. The opposite can jump and dump just like a setter can. You're an attacker, plus you have two more attackers that you can set here at the net and keep the play, everything up tight and close to the net so we can put it away. So that's number 1, is be ready for your setter to dig the ball on a driven ball to you. You're going to turn and set, okay? So a couple things to remember too, if you're new as an opposite, you don't have to worry about always needing to use your hands if you're a little nervous about it. You can bump set. You can bump set a 2 in the middle, and you can bump set a nice 5 or 4 outside. Okay, one good thing to remember when you're playing opposite the setter is on a free ball, your setter's lane is right here. She's going to run in here to get up to the net to set. And so what that means on a free ball, as you know, all the front row players pull off to help pass that free ball. And you're going to pull a little bit this way, but be ready to pass the short ball. You're going to pull here this way to clear the path for your setter to run in. So you never want to pull for your free ball this way and cause your setter to collide with you or have to run around you. So it's important that when you pull from blocking on a free ball, you're going to pull off to your right to clear the path for the setter to run in. Okay? When you're blocking in right front as an opposite, I like to ask you to leave a little bit of line, and your middle blocker will close to you. That way, here we go. Let me line your other players up here for you. That way your setter can line up here waiting for the driven ball down the line inside your block. Okay? So you have here, your middle blocker would be taking away this area, and you're pretty much taking away all of this. And everybody then can line up nicely behind you where you are not blocking. You'll notice inside the block so that they can see the hitter's arm. Okay, so if the other team should start to hit too much line, then obviously you would set your block wider and take away more area, and then perhaps your setter might cheat up on defense, and this middle back player would be ready to dig a high line if you have a nice big block. Alright, so, but ideally, it's nice to leave a little bit of line, challenge them to hit it, and let your setter put their helmet on and dig that line ball. Okay, now I've rotated it around so that we are now with the opposite in the back court. Okay, I have everybody already switched to position, so the setter is here in right front, and opposite is here in right back. So again, you would line up inside the block down that sideline. Some coaches like you cheated way up in here, but you better be ready to put your hands up and dig high in case they hit at your face. Here, I like a little better because you can dig with forearms or hands, and you can still run forward to run down dinks. And it's a little less vulnerable this way. Okay, so your job is to dig. Let me edit you and make you a digger. Okay, so your job is to dig the driven ball down the line. Let me see if I can tilt slightly here. Okay, and then also run down the dinks that tip over the block anywhere up in here. This is all for you to get. Okay, so when you dig, you want to pop it up to right front to your setter so they can turn and set the ball. If for some reason the setter winds up contacting the ball, then you've got to be prepared to come in and set. Okay, let's say that the setter wound up pulling off the net for something very short and pass the ball up to the net. You've got to run then in just like the setter would and set any of your 3 players, your 3 available hitters. Of course, you can still set the pipe as well. So, all right, you're hanging out in the backcourt here. Let's say a dig is sent to way back here in the backcourt, and the setter starts to run. They really just can't make it. You're allowed to then step in and call her off and then push that ball high outside. That's a good set is always to go high outside when you're stepping in to help out. Okay, let's say that these 2 blockers are up and the setter then digs a driven ball. She's going to pop that ball up. It's your responsibility to run in and then set one of your 2 available hitters. Okay? I can't think of too many other things offhand that would be an opposite's job. It's very similar to a setter. And the defense is the same on right and left with sidelines, and digging inside the block and whatnot. So, except that for me, for my teams, I ask the left side player, I didn't cover that yet for you. The left side players here and here would cover all the dinks all the way in this area here. And so therefore, on the opposite side of the court, these 2 players share running down all the slop and all the dinks in this area here. And then this player would dig everything up here behind the block. So it's just the same but in reverse. So let me know if you have any other questions, and I hope this helps.